Welcome to Medical Confessions.
Your remedy for serious medicine. I'm Jen.
I'm April.
And I'm Scott. Today we're going to be talking about how much caffeine will it take to kill you and what causes heart palpitations. First off, I'd like to say I'm really excited about this new table. For those people who've watched our first 10, 11 episodes, we had the rickety table. We've spilled urine on it. I don't know what else we've spilled on
Eggs.
it.
We dropped an egg off of it. Well, and it's important to understand that you constructed the first table.
Yes,
this one
I did.
is my job here.
This is a fantastic
Solid
job.
table work. So, yes, very good. I'm excited that we get to have like a taste test today.
Caffeinated beverages.
Yes, which
Very
is never
exciting.
a bad thing. So, you guys are both coffee drinkers, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yes. Me
Very
too.
much so.
Yep.
I think that's kind of just, our profession in general
Mhm.
is, a common deal. So anybody with shift work, I think I actually have not tried any of these. I'm like
Any of them.
any of them. I think I might have had like a sip of Red Bull, but I've never purchased an energy drink that I can recall.
So what we have here is NOS energy drink that says it's going to give me increased performance and enhance
I don't
mental
know how we're going
focus.
to gauge that, but we're going to compare 2 episodes and find out if you really have improved your performance.
Doubt it.
I'm drinking Red Bull.
That's
Hopefully,
classic, right? Classic
I'll
Red Bull.
sprout some
Yeah.
wings.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I've got the 5 hour, and I've heard of 4, right? Is it normally 4? Is it
No,
always
it's 5
It
hour
is always
energy.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get 5 hours of energy, not 4.
Awesome. I could use it today. And
Which
caffeine content. What are we looking at here, April? I think you did the numbers.
80 for my Red Bull, 200 milligrams for your 5 hour, and 160 for your NOS.
160 milligrams. So for reference, a cup of coffee, somewhere around 100 milligrams, depending on the type of coffee. But in an 8-ounce, 100 milligrams-ish. Could go on either side of that. Some people say 120, some people say 80. Let's just call it 100 because that's a nice round number, and it's easy for math later to find out how many cups of coffee might kill you. Because caffeine can kill you.
I have done massive quantities of caffeine before and only like really had repercussions once. I think I've told you guys about that before.
You have.
A little interesting challenge from a coworker, and we kind of had a, after every so much patient contact at work, we had to each down a cup of coffee, and it got to the point where I'm pretty sure we each ingested about 20 cups of coffee over the shift.
Oh.
And to the point where, like,
How much do you weigh?
really, really, I'm about.
What's a milligram per kilogram issue?
I'm 137 pounds of thunder. Let's just put it that way.
Wow,
So,
you even said the
I
number.
know.
That's awesome.
I know.
Not 136?
Nope. Typical. Well, that's how I gauge. It's 137. If I go over, if I go under, that's my standard.
So a kilogram.
Yeah.
And you had said how many cups?
We figured out we did about
2,000
20
milligrams.
over the course of, and I'm going to say probably.
Oh, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
You're not on the lethal dose yet, but that's pretty high.
The funny thing
You
is,
don't want
though,
that.
is at the time it was funny. Like we were actually, like you're talking, the jitters, and it was kind of funny. It was trying to keep up with each other. And then at some point during the night when we probably should have been sleeping, then it was actually like panic a little bit. Like, I can't sleep. I really, literally couldn't sit still. Just kind of. And then the next day, I am not joking, I felt like a train hit me. I contacted them, and I was like, hey, how do you feel? Both of us were like, horrible. Headaches, like almost like cold chills, nausea. Like it was horrible. I was like, it was bad. And then I felt like I had to come down. Like we were overdosed.
Like you just took some cocaine or something?
I don't know. I've never done that. But it felt that bad. So I'm like, there is definitely got to be a lethal dose. And we weren't far from it because I was sick for like 2 days.
There is a lethal dose somewhere, and there's never been a study that says this is the amount that'll kill you because, let's be honest, who wants to do a study where the end result is you could die? So they don't really do that. But in rats, they have. It's about 150 to 200 milligrams per kilogram is where the lethal dose is. But there are people
So
who
they killed rats with it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Kind of sad.
Don't tell PETA. But
I'm just picturing these little rats.
everything
and
done
cups
in
of coffee.
medicine comes with animal studies.
Well, it
you
does.
know?
Yeah, I know. It just, but they always die and don't really ever get the pleasure of the, I don't know.
Depending on what type of study. I mean, I want to be in the one where they, give you morphine or something, At least then you're dying happy, I guess.
Perhaps, yeah.
But yeah, no, but everybody's got a different tolerance, so people can live with much higher doses, but you could get lethal cardiac dysrhythmias in that 150 to 200 milligram per kilogram range.
Yeah.
The highest recorded dose of caffeine in someone surviving is 100 grams, so about 1,000 cups of coffee-ish.
Oh gosh.
Can you imagine?
No.
I'll bet you she felt jittery the next day.
Well, and there's probably no physical way to accomplish that amount. You know, like I think you just start puking and stuff if you.
Well, yeah, I mean 1,000 cups of coffee. I mean, you can't do that in the
Physically
4 to 5
yeah.
hours, which is the
Right.
kind of the half-life of caffeine, unless you're a kid below 6 months. Then it's longer.
Some bottle.
Well, actually, contraceptives can actually increase the half-life of caffeine too. So if you're on, a pill, pregnancy, can't even think of the name.
Birth control?
Birth control pill. I haven't had enough enhanced mental focus yet. I've only had 2 sips.
Better stop talking. And so, do you have to be predisposed to having palpitations in order for caffeine to make that happen? Because I've heard people talk about them, and but I don't think I've ever felt a palpitation myself. Like I've never had an irregular heartbeat. So, is it something that you will get? Like, say you're dehydrated or you're exercising, are you predisposed to having them? So, caffeine would be more likely to induce those, or
depends on the cause of your palpitation. So we'll get to heart palpitations later. We should probably talk about what caffeine is first to better understand it. But it belongs to a class of molecules called xanthines. In this case, a methylxanthine. In the body, how it's inhibited. It's basically a central nervous system stimulant, kind of like a cocaine or an amphetamine. A different molecule, same reaction. So you're stimulating your central nervous system. Basically, your fight or flight nervous system gets initiated. And it does that in a couple of different ways. The first way is it binds to something called adenosine receptors. Adenosine is the molecule that kind of makes you feel sleepy. It's actually one of the main molecules that deals with the sleep-wake cycles. And so adenosine in the morning is very low amounts in your brain, so you're feeling nice and awake. During the day, adenosine will increase in its amount and make you feel more sleepy. Caffeine will actually bind to the adenosine receptor and not allow the adenosine to make you feel sleepy. And so that's why it helps you wake up. And then it also stimulates your central nervous system, your fight or flight nervous system. It also can, in a roundabout way, release dopamine via one of the adenosine receptors. Helps release dopamine at the end of the day. I'll try not to get into too much chemistry because I don't have a very good enhanced mental focus yet. Anyways, so if you are susceptible to a certain type of cardiac dysrhythmias with the electrical system of your heart, if you stimulate your central nervous system for your fight or flight nervous system, you can then get irritability in your heart. For instance, there's a heart rhythm called atrial fibrillation. People with AFib, caffeine is known to kind of exacerbate that. Electrical system in your heart, if you increase your fight or flight nervous system, you can get some dysrhythmias, which is usually, in those super high lethal doses, that's probably what's causing your death, is that over excitation of your cardiac muscles. Yay.
Yay.
Anyways.
And you've never had any heart palpitations?
Nothing. Because people have told me, oh yeah, my heart was pounding and stuff, and it's like, I don't think I've ever felt, and once again, maybe I'm just out of tune with my body. Like, all these other people have all these weird things, and I'm like, oh, really? I don't know. But then I'm also inclined to believe, because 23andMe came back with an excellent health report for myself. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I just have no cardiac issues. Maybe I'm just lucky. But I will tell you right now, since I've had this, I have burped 5 times in my mouth and kept it from you guys. I'm over here just trying to...
for that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, though, if this whole sucralose thing, remember how I burp a lot?
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe.
Theory.
Well, and, we're talking about the bad effects of caffeine's actually pretty good for you in low doses. It can do a lot of good things for you. They're in most headache medicines. Midol, for pregnancy cramps, it's in there.
Pregnancy cramps.
Not pregnancy cramps.
Golly, this is not helping at all today. I'm
not a woman. I don't get cramps once a month. I don't.
I'm not impressed with your high performance focus. Good thing we're not out running right now.
He's going down quick. Menstrual cramps.
Okay.
Actually, and it works great in all types of pain. I probably shouldn't admit it, but I do like Midol for certain types of.
Over like an Advil or an Aleve or
yeah,
something?
because you get a diuretic in Midol. There's generally a diuretic in there to kind of get rid of the water retention. There's also some caffeine in there.
See, I always thought like the water retention aspect of the Midol was more of like the bloating, like the belly bloat.
Well, yeah, but so they give you a diuretic so that get rid of some of that.
Yeah, I know, but like, why would you need it?
The diuretic portion is not what I'm after.
Oh, well, you mentioned diuretic part. I thought that
Yeah.
you like actually liked the diuretic aspect
Yeah.
of it. Like, you just were like, do you enjoy
I like to
relieving
pee,
yourself,
I guess,
or do you like to be a half a pound lighter? I don't know. Like, what's-
It's power to weight ratio in marathons, Anyways, but no, caffeine's actually really good for you. It's one of the World Health Organization has it in one of their top 10 essential medicines. And I forget the exact term, so that might not be the right term. There's a term they use for like these top 10 medicines, and caffeine's one of them at low doses. And they recommend, 1 to 200 milligrams a day is super safe for you. Not a lot is going to happen for the most part. But anything over 600 milligrams a day, they say, you can start getting all of those jittery feelings. So yeah, in low doses, it's really good for you, and can have some pretty good effects. Namely, that dopamine release makes you feel good. That's kind of nice. That's probably part of its addiction issue. Anything that releases dopamine, that it's a feel-good neurotransmitter, is going to increase your chance of addiction to things. Caffeine also in low doses, if you don't drink it all the time, it can increase, it's a diuretic. But if you do drink it all the time, it's not a diuretic.
And you mentioned that before, and that actually made me happy because I'm not a great water drinker, and I'm always like, oh, I'm just going to, pass out one day during a workout or something, because I don't ever feel dehydrated, but I don't drink a lot of water in the morning. I just drink coffee, so.
Well, it's funny you say when you work out, because they have done studies, the people who drink caffeine every day in that 200 milligrams a day range, they fed them caffeinated beverages to hydrate themselves versus people who just drank plain water, and they both had the same level of hydration
there you go.
During workouts. So
Stop feeling guilty.
Yeah. So as long as you do it consistently, the second you stop for a period of time, like a week or two, and then go back those first few days, it will be a diuretic at that point.
Right. But I don't stop. Like I think I've tried it once. And it was horrible.
Well, me too.
Like withdrawals.
The second I wake up, the first thing is who's going to go make the coffee.
Right.
I've cut back. I've done a month without caffeine, and I found this substitute. It's called Dandy Blend. And it's
Dandy?
actually really
Ingested
good.
orally?
It's like instant coffee. Like you just mix it up with hot water, and
But
it
it still
tastes
has
like
caffeine?
coffee. No, as it's got extract of Bailey, rye, dandelion,
Baileys?
Sounds disgusting.
barley.
Barley?
Sorry, I said Bailey.
Baileys.
Oh.
No, like, that makes
no,
sense.
I'm not drinking the Baileys.
Barley.
So barley, extract of barley, rye, dandelion.
What does it taste like?
Beetroot. It's earthy coffee.
It sounds earthy.
But no, it
Tastes
does.
like
It
dirt
actually is.
and
I've
fertilizer.
had some
Yeah.
other coffee substitutes, and it's actually the best one I've had.
And so you don't drink coffee, or you took a break from it.
Mhm.
Why? Because you were drinking too much, or because there's clearly health benefits to
Well,
drinking
because
it. So.
I was getting the PVCs or
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
Palpitations.
So you were
yeah.
having negative side effects.
Right.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so I was like, plus I was eating clean as well, so I wanted to cut back on the caffeine, like not completely, but
Yeah.
just cut back, and
Yeah.
I just thought I'd
Yeah,
try
and I'm not
it.
judging. I'm just curious. Like, what
Yeah.
made you decide to?
I was just looking for alternate.
Yeah.
Well, low doses of caffeine over time will reduce your chance of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, so that's exciting. But high doses is not awesome.
No.
You can get, obviously we talked about the lethal cardiac dysrhythmias, but other than that, you can get something called lactic acidosis, so your body's pH is too low, which can come with all sorts of health problems like low blood pressure, seizures. Rhabdomyolysis is your muscles just are breaking down and you're peeing it out. So if you ever did a long cardio event like a marathon or a triathlon or something, and you pee brown, you're peeing out your muscle tissue. It's
well, yeah, and
unfortunate.
Never
Yeah.
seen that.
You've seen it, or
No, I've never seen that.
what are they like? Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Yeah, and you can clog your kidneys with that. You can get some
people get
short-term
really
kidney
sick.
failure.
I know someone that was hospitalized with it from
really?
going from being fairly sedentary to doing a really strenuous workout with weights and stuff like that, and kind of ignored some of the symptoms for a day or two, thinking that she was just extreme like soreness. Anybody feeling the effects of these? Because I feel no different.
I got nothing.
No.
But it's
You
not
need
like
the
we're
other one then.
yeah. Well, it's not like I'm out feeling
Yeah.
run down and like we're just sitting.
I
at
had a
table.
lot of coffee this morning, so I thought this was gonna
Put
tip
you
me
over
over
the
the
edge.
edge, but I'm a little shaky. It's
But you said it takes a while though, right?
30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not quite there yet.
Sometime. So even with even with some vitamin B12 and some folic acid, B6, with niacin,
Oh,
50%.
niacin.
Shouldn't
I
I be
hate the
feeling
niacin.
something? I've heard niacin with like pre-sports drinks.
Mm-hmm. Well, niacin actually can come. You've probably seen patients that have niacin reaction. They think they're having an allergic reaction. It sucks.
Itchy skin, right?
Yeah, itchy skin, red
Mhm.
flush face.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nothing so far.
Parker always wants to. Well, when he was younger, he's like, "Oh, can I have Mountain Dew?" Because
Yeah.
he's
Seems
a
like
kid,
cool
and
drink, yeah.
yeah, well, and he's so stoked about the caffeine, and I remember hearing, "Oh, it's loaded with caffeine," but it actually only has 55 milligrams.
Is it less than most other sodas? What about
Well,
most sodas?
Well, I think
Now, Dr. Pepper, which I let him drink all the time, has 61. Like, damn it!
Well,
Backwards.
and I think the
Mom
reason
logic.
the reason these are called energy drinks and not sodas is I think the FDA caps you at 80 milligrams in an 8-ounce cup for caffeine, and then you can't be a soda.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Well-
most sodas are 12 ounces, right?
Usually, yeah.
So if it's 51 for 12, oh yeah, I guess for 12 ounces, so yeah.
Well, the Ben & Jerry's no-fat coffee fudge frozen yogurt has 85 milligrams.
Oh,
Gotta love Ben and Jerry's.
look at those guys sneaking it in the ice cream. That doesn't sound like a kid ice cream though. You're probably free of getting children and addicted at a young age too. That doesn't sound like something my kids would eat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd buy a non-fat.
Oh, that's the problem. I
Yeah.
non-fat.
Non-fat ice cream? What does that
Yeah,
even
non-fat
taste like?
dairy is
Rubber?
wrong.
It's like well, it's frozen yogurt even.
Oh,
Oh,
it's not ice cream.
It's not the soft serve.
No, that's bad news.
Heart
Yeah.
palpitations, is that what we're on to now?
Yeah, let's talk about heart palpitations. What are they?
Have you ever had? You've had them.
No.
No,
No, you haven't.
I have.
You
You
have.
have,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well,
I'm
so-
not sold on this mental clarity
Yeah.
side effect.
Well, it's not the 30 minutes yet.
All of a sudden, he's just gonna perk up.
Ding, light bulb's gonna come on. I'm gonna talk quantum physics. It's gonna be great.
Oh. What are heart palpitations, Scott?
So heart palpitations really depends on the the cause. There's two parts of your heart. There's the electrical part and the mechanical part. The mechanical part is mediated by the electrical part. So cardiologists are really overpaid electricians and plumbers. That's what they do.
However, have you ever actually had to pay for an electrician or a plumber to come?
Oh.
I don't know that
Yes.
doctors are the most wealthy.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, no.
speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those journeyman electricians.
They
not
make
cheap.
some good money. So, sorry,
Good
go
for
ahead.
them. Good for
Yeah,
them.
why not?
More than we're making off this YouTube channel, I
Yeah,
think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So good for them. But anyway, so the top two portions of your heart are your atria, and your bottom two.
we just warned Scott about his hand gestures, so he's going to continue on.
I'm not supposed to do this on camera, is what I've been told.
That's right.
So the top two portions of your heart, atria, bottom two portions, ventricles. Notice I didn't squeeze. And between there's some valves. And in the top right portion is something called your SA node. And the exchange of sodium, potassium, and calcium in that SA node creates an electrical differential inside and outside the cells of the SA node. Once you get up to about 0.4 millivolts, you get an electrical discharge down your heart, and it causes the squeeze. So just like when you stick your finger in a light socket and your muscles contract, that's the same thing's happening there.
Have you ever done that?
Stuck my finger in a light socket?
Yeah.
Not that I can remember. I've been shocked a ton
but
of times.
Not
Yeah.
from electrical outlet.
So we have a friend that was wiring up my bathroom, and
You should have called an electrician and paid them well.
he was an electrician actually, and he likes to wire things hot. because it's quicker than going to shut off the thing because it's on the bottom floor and he'd have to walk down there or something. So he kept wiring this thing up and like every 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, do you want me? It's like, no, I'm good. Like, okay, keep going.
You should have videoed it.
Yeah.
I should have. Anyway, so the number one cause of palpitations is something called preventricular contraction, PVC. And so when the top part of the heart first sends across its electrical discharge, it goes across the top part, gets held up a little bit in what's called your AV node, and that allows for the blood to go from the top part of your heart to the bottom part, and then the electrical discharge goes down the bottom part, the ventricles, and then the blood gets pushed out to the body. If the bottom part of the heart squeezes before it's supposed to, they call it a preventricular contraction, or PVC, and it gives you kind of a backwards blood flow, and you kind of feel that as a skipping of your heartbeat or whatever. Some people call that a palpitation, whatever. But that's usually the number one cause. PVCs are pretty common. Most people have them all day long. You just don't realize you're having them. Most people think you feel them more at night because you're more relaxed, and so you're more susceptible to feeling that abnormal PVC. But doctors aren't really going to do anything about them until you get more than like 6 a minute. But even then, it's going to be, well, if your blood pressure is good, you're fine.
Right.
So that's a cause. Another cause of palpitations could be on the mechanical side of things. If you have one of your valves, specifically your mitral valve is a common one. If it's leaky, so the blood's supposed to go one direction, if when that valve closes, blood is pushed back the other direction, you can also feel that as a palpitation. So that would be a mechanical cause. Any of those valves that are leaky can cause that same palpitation feeling. We've talked about the preventricular contractions. You can actually have the atria if a different focus in your heart sends off the electrical signal before the SA node is supposed to. They call it a preatrial contraction, and you can get that same feeling of a palpitation. So palpitations are pretty subjective. You should probably be hooked up to a heart monitor if you're trying to diagnose what exactly is causing your palpitation. But caffeine, because it is a central nervous system stimulant, can increase your chance of feeling palpitations because it can increase the chance of PVCs or PACs. So, thus the being in Nicaragua drinking too much.
Your hand
You are shaky.
You're shaky.
Aren't I?
Yeah, you were just like like a little teacup.
Like a little old lady.
Yeah.
See 4 cups of coffee and the NOS this morning and no food. Should have eaten the omelet I was offered. Anyways.
I didn't eat. Did you eat?
I
I didn't eat. I also did 4 cups of coffee and a 5-hour energy.
Well, your body's clearly much better than mine, according to
Not so much-
23andMe.
No, I just feel like I drink enough of coffee that I didn't think I was going to feel anything. I was warned, by a friend, be really careful. Don't do 2 of these. You'll be super jittery. And I actually feel like completely normal right now. So.
Well, this is mid-afternoon right now, and if I call you guys tonight, I think I'm dying because you fed me NOS afternoon.
I'm gonna be ticked because I won't be able to sleep. I'll be like, I hope Scott dies. I can't sleep.
Hope that shaky little bastard dies.
Then we'd have something to podcast
Yeah.
about. Well, good. I feel enlightened. I'm not sold on the 5-hour energy, but maybe if I was actually trying to be more perked and out and about, maybe I would feel the effects of it. April, anything from your Red Bull?
not that I'm noticing, but
Yeah.
when I do the 5-hour energy, it's if I'm doing a long day of physical activity, around lunch I get tired and
Yeah.
I want to take a nap and I know that I can't, then I'll just have one of those with lunch and it just carries me through. It just gives me a little bump.
Just
bump.
like a little cocaine. I just need a little bump.
little nudge, little something to get me going. And Scott, what'd you do?
I like the flavor of this, actually. It
Yeah.
tastes like an orange soda, really. I don't know if it's from the caffeine I had this morning or
You
from
are
this one, but
literally
I am shaky.
You're shaky, shaky. But I actually
I'm like
like it
weak
because
hungry.
I don't know about the mental focus. I actually feel like you're less focused today. And I actually I think it's brought you down closer to me and April's level. Like I feel more,
I think I'm there more than you realize.
So, very interesting. I feel
Yeah.
like we've learned quite a bit about the benefits and ill effects of caffeine.
Yeah, so don't they're actually caffeine in little higher doses around 500 milligrams can give you an athletic performance enhancer. I think we all know someone who took caffeine supplements or caffeine suppositories to be specific when they were racing professionally.
Well, that's what I was thinking about when you talked about the marathon runner that had rhabdo issues. I'm like wondering if he didn't like throw in a couple suppositories during the race and had too much caffeine like during.
Well, and the Olympic Committee actually bans caffeine at a certain levels, and if memory serves, it's somewhere around the 6 to 9 milligrams per kilogram range, where they say, sorry, that's a performance enhancer, and they don't allow
It's
it.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a perfectly legal substance, but I guess in that quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a friend of mine that gave her son, who was in junior high, would let him drink coffee before his sporting events.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
Well, and you can. It's and if I don't remember the specifics, but I remember when we had a specific event that we've all done, I think, and I remember thinking, oh, if that gives me the athletic performance, it increases your VO2 max basically.
Yeah.
You can go 20% longer at your VO2 max, somewhere around 6 to 9 milligrams per kilogram range. So I remember drinking a lot of espresso that morning, thinking, I'm going to really reduce my time on this one. And it didn't work. I still sucked. So.
you spent your morning in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So now you know how much caffeine it'll take to kill you, somewhere around that 150 to 200 milligrams per kilogram range. Although there has been a lady who survived at 100 grams. So that's
1,000 cups of coffee.
Oof.
Yeah. But it sounds like for the most part, most of us are probably doing the right thing. A couple cups of coffee a day has probably got some significant health benefits and not a bad thing to stop. We don't know why people stop drinking coffee and eating barley.
Yeah. And whole foods.
Whole foods. But, once again, caffeine's our friend, I think.
Hey.
Yeah. So if you like what you've seen today, check us out on YouTube or on our podcast.
Or visit our website, medicalconfessions.com.